So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, students. Now, continuing with the last slide which we stopped, this is the second video. I think we stopped somewhere here, setting optimum levels in inventory for EOQ. Now, what is EOQ? How much to order, the review order or reorder, what we call the question of calculating the economic order quantity, EOQ, economic order quantity. So here simple EOQ, economic order quantity extensions went to order, reorder, point and safety stock. These are some of the important levels of inventory for a calculation. The trade-off between ordering and carrying costs of how to take off. Now this is simply balance between inventory and ordering cost and inventory carrying cost. If one order is placed per year, the annual ordering cost would be very low, but the inventory carrying cost would be very high. By contrast, ordering each day would mean high ordering cost but low carrying cost. The key is to find balance, that is trade-off. I repeat, by contrast, ordering each day would mean high ordering cost but low carrying cost. The key is to find a balance, trade-off between these two costs and finding the optimum order quantity, namely EOQ, that is the trade-off ordering. That is, remember, average inventory is equal to half order size. Therefore, high order quantity results in high inventory and high carrying cost. Graph and formula, but we will be just checking that out. Now here, first let us see the formula. Now this formula, if you see, economic order quantity, as you can see, a standard deviation of 2PD by CV, where P is equal to ordering cost, dollars per order, D is annual demand or sales volume in units, and C is carrying cost, and V is cost of value per unit. If you do this calculation, you will get the economic order quantity. The relation is shown here in this graph. If you see this graph, the economic order quantity, which talks of number of orders and the cost is R, that is Rand as per South African currency. Order quantity shown here, particularly if you see from the axis, and then the carrying cost and the total cost, if you can check this out. It is very detailed given in page number 234, if I am not wrong, which talks about how the worked example is taken, and with those calculations you can check those calculations and understand it on how it is taken care. Now moving on, economic order quantity adjustments. What happens is, let me give you an example. Although the economic order quantity model is widely used in industry, it has its limitations. That is, this limitations results from assumptions that the model outline has its own problems. That is, no stocks are permitted. Sometimes, continuous, constant and known rate of demand, constant and known lead time, and so on and so forth. Some of the limitations posed by this assumptions make it the particular economic order quantity adjustments for volume transport rates. Now that is, as general rule, the larger the order, the lower the transport cost unit, because the cost is spread over more units. One could therefore expect that lower transport rates could be negotiated for larger order quantities. Similarly, Adjustment for quantity discounts is when buying large quantities, discount can also be taken into account by adjusting the economic order quantity. That is how it goes on. And the other adjustment can be like for particularly which is given when to order product like lots, that is production lot size, multiple item purchases, limited capital, own transport. I'll just give you some. You can refer to the textbook also for most examples that are given over there. I think page 236 or 237, I don't remember. You can understand it more clearly from there. So these are some of the EOQ, that is economic order quantity adjustments that are done usually, which has its own repercussions and relishments. But determining order quantity or order point also, it has its formula. I don't want to get into the detail of this formula. Please check it out in the textbook because we are now in such a stage I cannot explain more on this formula. But target level replenishment, this is very important. Fixed order interval, now which we are talking about is the interval that happens between the kind of safety stock or ROP, that is when we have a difference of importance on the stock that is covered. For example, if you see, you can go on and check also in your textbook, which you can understand more clearly, that is for how the notifications or modifications for this are done in different ways. Now, more clearly, I can just give you some examples, that is for a particular fixed order interval system is used when orders are placed, at a fixed time interval such as weekly, bi-weekly or monthly. The TSL, that is again target stock level system, which is called by the inventory control system. I repeat, TSL, that is under circumstances that make use of review of level system inappropriate. That is when inventory is stopped up when the cycle time and ordering time comes up. For example, every Thursday, the procedure follows some of the steps, that is specify a day, a week, a particular week or a month the order is going to be placed, review the stock or a chosen date or the quantity that is to be calculated, and so forth. So there are some formulas that Q and TSL, it's minus stock on hand and minus supply orders, and then so forth. So then you can check on some of the quality to meet target levels or order quantity of how it is done. In the similar manner, it can be even checked out on other areas also, frequently depending upon how the distribution is done. The reorder or the review order period, ROP, has its own limitation for arriving to a target reorder point, that is ROP. It also explains the importance, if you can see, that is given in kind of distribution, which is on demand uncertainty and certainty in the next slides. Target replenishments and demand uncertainty, safety stock added to the base inventory, and normal distribution as such. And then we have demand uncertainty, mean, median, and combined standard deviation. But fill rate and reorder size are important formulas. You need to just understand this. Remaining is not so important. But logistic requirement planning, that is important for you to understand the customers, which is LRP. Now talking about LRP, we have lot of importance given in the textbook also. That is how LRP is done. Now, fill rates you can understand first with some importance on how probability theory determines those fill rates and all that, and economic order quantity. And then talking about especially the importance of logistic requirements. Now, as you have understood in the beginning of the chapter, where I have tried to make you understand on different aspects of requirements with relations to customers, raw materials being taken in the scope of logistic requirement planning, it is shown here that logistic requirement planning is a scheduling technique that ensures that the right goods are available at the right time at the right place, that is, in the right quantities. It is a logical integration of distribution requirement planning (DRD) and material requirement planning (MRP) across the particular supply chain. If you see on the left side, MRP and DRD implementations, that is depending on those particular areas. So the logistic requirement planning aims to reduce total inventory in the supply chain by reducing the reliance on the demand of all time for forecasting. As simple as that. Excuse me. Procedure for a particular logistic requirement planning: plan weekly, start with demand and all. You can check this out, the requirements for this. And then similarly, we have very important topic as far as your course syllabus is concerned, that is just in time. You can just read these topics on page number 245 and 246. All steps are given there. Just in time is nothing but we have items that is, as you can see, they are needed, and when they are not needed, demand for one item triggers demand for another item, and how those particular demands are taken and for a particular logical importance. Like, for example, several approaches that have special relevance to supply chain, that is using MRP or DRG. JIT or just in time suggests that inventories should be available when a business needs them, not early or not later. That is the approach, the main principle underlining JIT system, and therefore the business has inventory when needed and none when it is not needed. Then conventional versus just-in-time systems. This is kind of comparison. You can check this out. What is the difference between convention and the GI, that is just-in-time systems, which marks the importance of those areas. Now, talking about applications, possibilities, and other things for JIT requirements, there are so many the benefits also. Typical importance of the features of ideal company, that is narrow product range manufacturer, high volume, stable markets, and influential. Then we have good quality management, local supplier, and so on and so forth. You can just get along with that and understand the JIT requirements also. Collaborative information inventory initiatives, these are very, very limited as far as the syllabus is concerned. Then we can just understand those are important for forecasting, which we have seen in chapter 6. Collaborative planning and replenishment we have seen. Quick response we have seen. Vendor management interventory is not here. but we can understand Pareto. Now, Pareto principles are nothing but a study of distribution of wealth in a city called Milan during the 18th century, where economist Wilfredo Pareto, his full name was, found that 20% of the people controlled 80% of the wealth. This logic of the minority having the greatest importance and the majority having little importance has been bordered or broadened over the years to include many situations and termed the Pareto principle. So you can check that ABC analysis also is one, but importance of how the purpose of inventory, that is customer service and effective control methods whereby inventory went on for requires a method management spends more time effort on inventory, crucial for balancing the objectives, that is very important. Now moving on, ABC analysis similarly for Pareto, but we are not more interested, but if you want you can check this again on page number 251. There are some very important analysis given about Pareto. So I think we come to the end of this talk. It's not important, but let me tell you students, please go and check all the slides, that is 3, 4 and 5, because we have the importance of let me just give you a small check or a look at the syllabus. Here if you see inventory cost, inventory firm, rational inventory approaches and just-in-time approach, classifying inventory, that's all we have. So I would not ask you to waste your time other than that. And that's all for this chapter. So I'll be back with another some important slides in the next video. Thank you so much.